Hola, ¿cómo están? Okay, buen appetit. I hope you're enjoying your food. Huh? See? Okay. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying your food. So whoever hasn't gotten food, please get your food and come back. It's a working lunch, so we're gonna keep going. Okay, so right now I'm gonna introduce Jabril. He's gonna talk about the experience from transferring from a community college to a four-year college. He went to Tufts University, which is located at Boston, Massachusetts. So can you please, I was gonna say give a hand, but like your guys are eating, but just welcome him, okay?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jabril. I was a student here at Hostos. I actually graduated twice, for almost. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself and my journey through Hostos and then at Tufts University. So if any one of you is planning on transferring from Hostos to your college to any other four-year colleges, maybe within CUNY or outside CUNY, this might be something you want to listen to and it's a process that you can easily achieve. So so once again, my name is Jabril. I was a student at Hostos. I met Jason my first semester, or my second semester, and then I was part of the ambassador program, and ever since then, I've known Jason for like 8-9 years now, I don't know. So here at Hostos, I did the extra program. I was a radio technology student, and I graduated from that program. I worked, and I knew I always wanted to do more than just that, even that was good enough. So I enrolled back to Hostos Community College, where I became more part of the academic program. I was an honors student, and I did a lot of honors courses, honors program, which really sort of like helped me to be exposed to more things outside of the class, which is something very important when you're planning to transfer to a four-year college. So I did all of that, and then I was a decent student, and so I applied to Tufts University upon finishing my second degree at Hostos, or I transferred before finishing actually. So I was able to transfer to Tufts University not just because of my GPA, I was able to do well at Hostos, but also because I had been privileged to so I did some stuff outside of class, like I was telling you earlier. So I was part of the honors program. I was also part of the ambassador program, where I got to do a lot of cool stuff. I actually gave a speech in a few places. I represented Hostos. I was part of the people that read the names at the 9/11 memorial. I got to meet a lot of cool people. I saw Obama, I saw Clinton, I saw I think the governor Patterson. So I got to do all this stuff that doesn't scream out in your resume, but it also helps you to be able to reach higher, and so you are more than a GPA to all the schools that want to accept you. And so the good news is that so as a 2-year college student from a place like Hostos, all these four-year schools, they are looking out for you. They want you to come to their schools. They have money that they are also willing to offer you, transfer money that would all. So I think it would cost you just as much as you would pay for another CUNY college if you were to go to a four-year school in CUNY, because they offer you so much scholarship money based on your income, based on your family, also income and stuff like that. So it's not as expensive as it sounds. So I'll give you a typical example. My brother went to Stanford University, and he had zero loan to pay back, like debt to pay back from Stanford University, because he was given a full ride. And that's a possibility. If you had gone to another CUNY college, you probably would have paid a little more money, because there's not such type of huge fund that will be given for him to be able to complete his 2-year at the four-year college. So in my case, I wasn't as fortunate. I went to Tufts University. I was given, I think, about 85% of my tuition of everything was covered. But still, I still didn't have to pay as much as I would have been asked to pay if I had gone to another school. So essentially, what I'm saying is that, don't let the don't let the tuition be something that scares you when you hear a school costs $60,000 and you're like, no, there's no way you're paying that. Of course, there's no way I was going to pay that. But I was fortunate. I got scholarship funds, and so it was due to the fact that I had good enough GPA, and then I was also part of stuff that I did outside of class. So my extracurricular activities were very, very beneficial in that sense, to being accepted and then being given all these funds. So my question to you is, if you're planning to transfer, you need to have like a process to go through, because if you don't have a process, if you don't have a strategy, then you're gonna be caught. You'll be confused basically, because there will be something that you did not get to do, and there are like due dates, and if you miss due dates, it's almost like, well, next year, goodbye. So of course you want to have good GPA, right? Of course you want to be, so the fact that you're like here, it says something about all of you, that you want a little more than just, the class experiences that you get here at Hostos. It shows that you want to be, that you want to do more for yourself. You want to be leaders. You want to be like, you're proactive. You want to give back to your community, or something of that nature, which is something that all the schools are looking for. So, good GPA, being part of more things outside of your class system, and then also you want to know the school that you want to apply to. You want to know, what do you want to study. That's not always a given. Some people don't know what what they want to study until their junior year, even at schools like Tufts University or Stanford University. You have that much time to finally decide. The earlier the better, but it doesn't always, it's a bad thing. So if you're fortunate enough, you know what you want to study, just look at schools outside of New York City, within New York City, or wherever you want to go to school, and see how the schools rank, based on what you want to study. So in my case, I was looking into, studying biology or psychology. Those were my two favorite courses. I love sciences and all that, but I realized, Tufts University was one of the top schools in all of America that have a good psychology program and then a good biology program. So when I got to Tufts, I was like, biology seemed a little too intense, the way, Tufts University, did biology. So, psychology seemed more plausible. It was a much fun department. People were just really cool. I got to meet a lot of cool professors and, students. We always did research. So it was just fun. I realized, this is better. And also I did some biology classes there. So I was able to kind of like, mix and match everything. And, I did okay at Tufts. And so currently now what I'm doing is trying to apply to medical school, because that's always been my end goal, my ultimate dream, the reason why I, decided I need to re-enroll back at Hostos University and then go back, to Tufts, and then after that, apply to medical school. So essentially I would tell you, my journey in the sense that how I had to go from Hostos, what I was like at Hostos. I was kind of like, very engaged at Hostos in a way. Probably Jason will say otherwise, but I was a little bit engaged at Hostos, and then, I was okay at Hostos. I had friends, I had family, I had, everybody that I had here in New York. I had a good support system, right? And then I found myself at Tufts University, which was, where nobody knew me. Everybody was freaking smart. Everybody was very dedicated to the academics. Everybody was just super awesome, And so it was hard for us to kind of like fit in, just not because of my color, So I have a class where I was the only black person in class. And I just, that's no big deal, I can always do it. So, but it got to me a little bit, and I had to like, catch myself again, and, I told myself I belong here. There's a reason why I'm here, and, you have to like give yourself pep talk. So I was able to like push through, and, today I'm proud, and, I'm proud of what I was able to accomplish. But to deal with these, setbacks, the thing that you have to do is, or to know that your time at Hostos is going to help you to some extent. And that's why it's always good to put yourself out there to an extent, like, to take challenges. And, I would, thank Jason for some of that because he pushed me a little bit out of my comfort zone while I was at Hostos. I didn't always appreciate it. I got to give a speech, and I'm sure he's still going to talk about that to everybody, anybody who meets in the future. How I was such a nervous wreck, and I was just like, what the heck am I doing in front of this? Awesome, folks at CUNY. I can't remember the actual program. I think it was just, I don't know, but so I was such a nervous wreck. And I was able to go from that naive, clueless, person that was always scared of in that kind of moment to, like the person I am today, even though there's still a lot more to do. But, so my advice is, you want to put yourself out of your comfort zone because that's the only way you're actually going to grow. If you stay in your bubble, your comfort zone, you're never going to grow. And so that's one of my advice going forward for, anyone of you that wants to do more than, what you're doing right now. And that helped me when I got to Tufts, in the sense that I was able to, pick myself up. I think I called Jason my first semester. I texted him that this is how I don't want to be here. This is just not, what I had asked for or begging for because it was just hard. I was like not doing well in my classes. I was just like, why am I here? This is a waste of my time. And, he encouraged me. I picked myself up and, I was able to like look for clubs, which is very important. I joined clubs that would like help me, kind of like make people be a little more comfortable in that environment because it was more also, being comfortable, being engaging and, not thinking too much about what's going on in your own head because that's where the problem starts. And so I was able to like push through that. And so why I'm speaking here today is also because of the fact that I and a friend of mine, Philip Ellison, who also came to Hostos, he joined me a year after when I got to Tufts. So we both went to Hostos and then we both went to Tufts. So while Philip joined me at Tufts, he was experiencing the same problem that I experienced at Tufts University. The socioeconomic, background that we both came from. We're not rich white kids, which is all you see on campus. And so it was a little taken aback. He was struggling with all this process, and I was able to kind of like be there for him. And then we decided, there's a reason why we feel this way, and so then we talked about what we can do to address this kind of feeling, and then we realized, well, we need to give more opportunity, if we can, to people that look like us, people from the same background, people from the same area, the same culture, and so we started working on the startup ever since then, and so far so good. We've been so we're getting some sort of traction in the sense that so now we have stakeholders. We're in schools in Boston where we are currently helping students to be able to achieve, this kind of dream of going from 2-year colleges to 4-year colleges. Hopefully at some point we'll be able to get into Hostos and, do the same thing for students here because we realize so many students here at Hostos, not just here at Hostos, but 2-year colleges mostly, they don't know that they can actually go from 2-year college to a 4-year college, and not just any 4-year college, but, a well-known 4-year college. And so hopefully, someone can benefit from what we have to do or what we can do, and we can have more people like, that look like us and be a part of the socio-economic, growth ladder in America. And, we can like do just as good. So that said, I would like open up for questions. If anybody have a question, like how to transfer the process of it, I can speak more to that based on your question. But that's kind of my story. Not necessarily. So it depends on what the school that you want to transfer to, the programs that they have. So let's take, for instance, you're interested in like community health, right? Some 4-year schools, they don't call it community health, they call it public health. So it could be just the name change. And if you want to do something like maybe liberal arts and science, general science, maybe more like health related, so you may have schools that you might just have to do biology as a major instead of general health science. So it depends on that. And it depends on what you want at the end of the day. You can always mix and match. I think that's that's like secondary problem that, you know, should not be something that you worry about. Yeah, so that's actually a big deal. That's a very important question that you just asked. So we encourage people to, kind of like complete the 2-year college, like graduate. However, you could decide not to do that. So why I say that is if you graduate from Hostos, since you're at Hostos, and then you want to go to a 4-year college, you're more likely to get all your credits transferred, which means you would only be there for a maximum of 2 years in the other school. But if you were to do, let's say, half of Hostos, they might not take all the credits you have, which will be, let's say, 3 years more. So they might say, well, this does not qualify this much. So yeah, you're more likely to have your credit articulate to your 4-year program than if you did not finish, then they can easily say, well, this doesn't not meet our requirement because we're a 4-year college, we went to a 2-year college. So there's a little bit of that discrimination that can happen. Yeah. Not right now. Can you repeat that again? Well, all the community colleges, 4-year colleges are actually good. I think it depends on what you want to major in. I think you want to do like healthcare related program. So let's say for nursing, you want to go to a school like Hunter College. They are known for like their sciences, like biology, chemistry, physics, all that stuff like that. If you want to do, I think business wise, then you could go to Baruch. So if you want to do like engineering, City College is one of the best colleges actually in North America that have a good program considering its CUNY. It's very, very well regarded even amongst Ivy League schools. Like City College is one of the best schools you could actually go if you were looking into engineering programs. So. Oh, for education major. For CUNY, I think the School of Professional Studies, I think it's a good school if you're thinking CUNY. If you're thinking outside of CUNY, I would think school like NYU actually, you could, not easily, but if you apply to NYU as a CUNY student, if you have good enough, GPA, you've done, internship and stuff like that, you could actually get scholarship to go to school like NYU or Columbia if you want to do something related to social work or, teaching. I know so I have a few friends that are in Columbia that are like, teaching major and stuff like that. They actually appreciate teaching.
Mercer is actually really good. It's one of the schools that I want to go to. They have a program called Quest, where basically you do your classes or whatever, but then you do an internship at a school, kind of like as a teacher, and you get those like hours, you get those hours of credits. You get paid in credits, and you work with the teacher, and like the teacher actually like sits back and then lets you do like a lesson or two, and you get credit for that.
It's kind of like hands-on teaching, I
Yeah.
guess, like while you're still in time.
I'm also thinking about Manhattan College and Purchase, New Paltz. Those are other good schools that are good for education. No, New Paltz. Those are upstate, but for local, Manhattan College isn't that far.
So that's a senior school, and also
No,
Purchase is a
Manhattan's
senior school. No, I'm talking about Halls.
New Paltz and Purchase are super.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So outside the city.
It's New York, but upstate New York. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not that far from here. You could literally take the Metro North from here and just be there. And they have a bus. I was thinking about going there myself.
All right, is there any other question?
Oh.
Sorry?
No problem.
Yeah, so I'm just picking up on my experience with my friends that I've known that have gone into that path. I know City College has a program towards becoming a law student and going into law. Yeah, so City College is the most renowned that I would say have an actual track because so I have a friend at Hostos actually that went to City College and she's in law school now. Yeah, so they have a track for that. And I mean, I'm sure John Joe would have something with respect to that. Maybe not then. Probably have like an affiliation because yeah, they are more towards criminal justice or criminal justice or if you want to be a cop stuff like that. John Joe is really into that. So yeah. Yeah, why not? Absolutely, yeah, you should do that. I mean, you can, tap out before you actually get dating. So, yeah, you should definitely look into Howard. If you feel like Howard has a program, you just have to make a case why you want to go to Howard, and you have to write an essay. You have to go through the, all the Common App process, which is, the process of transferring. Yeah, so you're well on your way. You get, some of your professors here at Hostos to write you, like recommendation letter, and you should be good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The one you get from Marvel, yeah. So if the school like that is inviting you, it's because probably you're part of Phi Delta Kappa. Am I right? Yeah. So if you're part of Phi Delta Kappa, you will get schools across America writing you, because they want candidates like you because they believe you're a serious student, you're a community college. So like I mentioned earlier, they are trying to recruit two-year college students because they have money allocated towards that is from the government, so I mean, you might as well be that student that get that money. So yeah, school like Harvard will not tell you we have this much money to give you, or like, maybe some other schools that would say we have $16,000 for a Phi Kappa student. I think that's the cap. So, but for schools like Harvard, Yale, schools like Brown University, the Ivy League school basically, they don't tell you the actual scholarship amount because so I think they have what is called need-based pay, and it means that they will give you as much money as they know that you need, that you will not have to take too much loan or any loan at all. So I just told you my brother went to Stanford on full ride, So it's partly because of his GPA, also because of the fact that he put himself out there. He did a lot of community service and stuff like that. So you get that kind of scholarship fund that they don't tell you. They can give you up like 100%, they can give you 90%, but they won't give you what would make you not want to go. And so I think it's more important that you get accepted first before you worry about how much they're giving you or not, because then you can always tell them you can't afford the school and then so you will not be coming in. And if you tell them that, they probably would increase your scholarship fund just because they want you to come. So for schools like Harvard, it's more important that you get accepted before you worry about anything else. Any other question?
All right, ready? I said, and you've heard people say, right, that I will stay with you for the rest of your life. True? I'm still working on stuff for this guy. I'm still writing letters of recommendation. Right?
Yeah.
Tell him about your first scholarship.
Which one? So I think what he's talking about is the Association for Hispanic Healthcare Executive Award. So this award was given to me because I used to work at St. Barnabas Hospital in the Bronx. So I provide medical services to mostly Hispanic populations, right? So
Tell a story.
so I got this email from Jason about the AHHE, and I was like, no, let me apply. What the heck? And I was not expecting. It's my story. Let me tell my story. It's my story, Jason. No. I mean, you were part of it, but it's my story. So I applied for the scholarship, and lo and behold, I was part of the 2 other students from all of America that was awarded the scholarship. One is from Harvard and one is from, I think one is from UCLA and one is from Harvard. Okay. So yeah, and they actually did the award ceremony at Hostos. So it was really crazy that one, CUNY student, not just CUNY student, but one Hostos student, is in the same.
You're not telling the story the right way.
I'm not boosting it now, I guess.
So, listen, so I sent out an email about a scholarship from the American Hispanic Healthcare Workers. What's it?
Association of Hispanic Healthcare Executives.
Association of Hispanic Healthcare Executives. So the first email I got from Jabril was, "You think I can apply?" I said, "Why not?" Right? Well, because I'm Nigerian. Well, he says this from Brooklyn, but he's really from Cleveland. So, but he's Nigerian. I said, "Why not?" So he applied, and he was selected, as you heard, along with 2 other students in the first ever award that they ever gave. And 2 other students were from some major colleges, 4-year institutions. They got $1,000, right? $2,000, even more, but even better, right? But there you go. And so this is the first step in the journey of the Drill Wow. His brother is a big shot, because he went to Stanford, he went for free, went to the master's program for free, and then, okay, he didn't get the master's degree. But anyway, now we see him, he lives in California, he will not come back to New York, because everything that he eats has to have avocado on it. He can't live in New York. So he was here last year in the wintertime, a few of us had lunch at a restaurant, he had ordered a hamburger, he said it has to have avocado on it. We're like, what the heck is going on? He is also from Nigeria, by the way. But he's really from Nigeria. He's not from Brooklyn or Queens. Anyway, but that's that story. But I wanted Jabril and Philip to come and talk to me, and they're good people to have as a resource. He's sort of being shy about this. When they got to Tufts, they created this platform, and they're still working it out so that they can have it as a developed platform for students to use across the nation. Of how you go from a community college, a public institution to private institutions and not face the challenges that you think you're going to face. So they're working on, they won an award for it as partners. They became roommates, by the way. They were in the leadership together.
Yeah, we're not roommates. We're apartment.
Oh God. Now you see the drama I have to deal with on a regular basis, right? Okay, so they were apartment mates, which meant they lived in the same apartment. They were not roommates, they didn't live in the same room. Okay, there you go. But the bottom line is that they collaborated, they became roommates in Tufts, they developed this platform, and they're still working it out. That doesn't mean he hasn't stopped working. He got a fancy job at NYU Langone, because he had his radiology degree from Hostos, and working there. He still has aspirations of being a doctor, so he's still moving in that direction. He's friends with some of the people that I mentioned, Samantha Jackson, who is now a diplomat. He's friends with her. And there's all sorts of things, all sorts of connections. So I wanted to bring Phil and him in. Phil's not here. Phil said he was definitely going to be here, because he's the one who's the mouthpiece of the organization, he said. But he didn't make it, so I wanted to bring him in for that. So I'm going to cut him off now, because we have to move to the next workshop. So cut the camera. Yes.